Today I'm doing a sad video. I just want to explain to you what happened to me with these DroBos. So on the left is a 5-bay DroBo. The exact model is going to be, I think this is the 5N2, if I remember, the 5N DroBo, because it only has one NIC card. And then I have the 8-bay DroBo, which is, I don't know, something 8N something. I forget the model number, but it'll be below the information. But this is the 8-bay drive DroBo. This is and you'll see there's links below so that you can see the exact one. I just want to say that I was a huge DroBo fan. I was a huge DroBo fan. No longer. I purchased these two within 5 years. About 5 years. They're about 5 years old. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but they're not 10 years old, that's for sure. And this died on me, I'd say, earlier this year. And I have about a total of 6 DroBos, at 5 or 6 DroBos. And I already had this duplicated. So when this died, I was sad to see it go, but I wasn't too heartbroken because I already had it backed up. I had an identical configuration. I had another 5-bay DroBo, same drive, same everything. So it wasn't a big deal. But it did make me a little bit nervous. So I ended up, backing up a lot of stuff to here also, the 8-bay one. So pretty much, across the board, I pretty much, try to keep everything in sync and have everything the same across all my NAS devices. My special and my necessary that I can never lose data, which is my personal videos and my personal pictures. Those are my most important. They're in terabyte sizes. I have well over 1 million pictures that I've taken personally. Scanned pictures, family photo, you name it, I got it. My personal videos has 8mm videos that I've converted from 8mm, those strips, to digital. So this one, before it died, I'd say for about 1.5 years, I kept having errors. It would tell me a disk was missing. I mean, I wouldn't even touch this. This sat under my desk on a shelf above the floor, so that way it doesn't have any dust. I'd blow out down there about once every 6 months, make sure there was no accumulation of dust or anything. So I never really moved this. If you have a NAS, you know that NAS are very slow. So pretty much I just use this for backup. I don't really use it to come across to use certain applications and stuff. I pretty much just drag and drop in there. Sometimes I'll stream a video from it or what have you, but you know that these things are not like connecting it directly into your computer like on a SATA connection or a USB. Very different. Slower. It's a NAS. It happens. So this started telling me, oh, 1 drive was not missing, 2 drives, I'd reboot it, shut it down. I mean, sometimes it would take me about 10 times to shut it down and bring it back up for all the drives to come up. Sometimes I have to remove the drive, reinsert them. It was ridiculous. I was like, oh man, I hope this is not going. And it ended up going. So I kind of had a feeling about this. This one, no. This one said nothing. I never had a drive failure, not even an error on it. It just stopped working. Now my biggest problem is that it boots up, it lights up, you cannot connect to it. I tried it in 2 different networks, 2 physically different locations. I lugged this over to another location to try it out. Didn't work. I directly connected it to my computer. Didn't work. I used straight through cables. I used crossover cables just in case there was a problem with that. Didn't work. I know the IP address. I left it at DHCP. I set up a router that only this and my PC were connected to. Did a scan, an IP scan. The IP would not come up. There was nothing coming. This has 2 network ports. I was getting nothing. I was doing IP scans with Fing. I was doing IP scans with SolarWinds application that they have to scan things. I was using Angry IP, bunch of different applications. It just does not come up at all. So I contacted DroBo. I figured maybe they could help me at least to get the data off. This is 8 drives. I mean, this is huge. And I believe they're all 10 terabyte drives. So there's a lot of drives in here. And, you know, I just hope that I already have backed it up on another NAS and that there wasn't something I forgot. But just to make sure, hey, can you help me? Can I get the information? Now, with DroBo, when I first purchased it, one of the reasons I bought it for was because they don't allow you to just take out a drive, connect it to a computer, and get the data. It's encrypted. It does its own thing in there. You can't even, let's say somebody came over to my home and stole all 8 drives and marked them with the right drive number where they are. If they had the same device at their home and took all my drives and put them into their device, it will not work. That's a security feature, and I like that. That's very good. I don't want somebody to pop this out, plug it into something, and have it working again, because then that would defeat the security option with this. So, but now, looking at what's going on, maybe I don't know anymore. Since I mostly just kept pictures and videos in there, personal pictures and videos, nothing, you know, personal. They're my pictures. I share it with my family, and I just need a backup. So I figured an 8-bay drive would last forever. Nope, that didn't happen. Died. It turns on, it boots up, I cannot connect. Contacted DroBo, and twice they closed my case. I never communicated with me, never talking to me or anything. And then finally, the third time, you know, I just replied again. I kept replying. Give me a phone call. Give me an email. Tell me what to do in my scenario. What's going on? They said, they finally sent me a reply. And I think they just closed the other 2 cases earlier because of the third reply, which was, you're out of warranty. We can't help you. I'm sorry. Customer service should be number 1. I don't know what's going on with DroBo, because in the past, with other drives, I've called them, they've called me, and I've had no issues. But they just don't even want to bother with me. And it's sad, because I really liked DroBo. But I do have other NASs that have Synology NAS software. It's night and day from DroBo's. Night and day. I had a situation, I think it was that I was trying to add a larger drive. Might have been past 6 terabytes. I forget what it was. And if I remember correctly, I was installing it in a 5-bay DroBo. I have several. And it didn't take. It didn't work. So when I contacted DroBo, and it was under warranty, I believe, they told me that the firmware was outdated and I had to update it. I said, okay, great. Is my data safe? They said, no. So I had to run around, look for all kinds of drives so I could drop the data that was in here into other drives, update the firmware on this, upgrade the operating system, put back my drives, reformat it, reset it, and then put all my data back. That took me months to do. It was ridiculous. I couldn't believe that they were doing that. You know, it was, but I already had purchased DroBos and I was stuck with them, so I was using them, but no more. Like I said, this one's not coming up. Nothing's working. The DroBo software, it doesn't have a lot at all. I don't use much, but it even has less than that. Now, I have an IOSafe, and the IOSafe software NAS uses Synology. Synology software, top notch. Love it, love it. I mean, that thing just works perfectly. Never has yet to give me an error telling me a drive is dead. When I turn it on, it comes online all the time. I have never, not once, gotten an error telling me that a drive is loose. Like I told you, I'm not even touching this, and it's giving me errors that the drive is loose. That has to be software or hardware-wise. I don't know what's going on with DroBo. But with Synology, all of them work. I have yet to have an issue with them, and I owned them as long as I've owned these. So there's a big difference between the two software, and Synology, top notch. Listen, I'm no expert. whatsoever. I did work in the IT field for a long time. I didn't deal with NASs except at home, but I did deal with certain aspects, which is to connect to it and get to it. But we used enterprise systems, IBM, Cisco, stuff like that. So I'm a little bit knowledgeable in regards to NAS devices. And I got to tell you that I'm really saddened by DroBo. I thought that my drives would die before the actual device would actually drive. So this video is more of letting you know my experiences with DroBo. After 5 years, this is 8 drives. That's a 10 terabyte drives. That's a lot of data that I no longer have access to. And you can't access it for good reason, encryption reasons. You can't just take the drives out. Because I honestly would buy another DroBo, 8 drive DroBo, and slap everything in to get it up and running. But according to what the gentleman said at DroBo years ago, you can't do that. It's a security reason for that. So these drives are tied to the actual DroBo that you have them plugged into. I'm just really, really sad. And now what happened was, since I'm unsure, I no longer have faith in the DroBo drive. So I'm moving all my stuff from the DroBo NASs, the other ones I have, or at least copying over, make sure I have a copy, waiting for them to die, and I'm putting them on. That's why I'm doing a video on this, on the 14 terabyte drives. So now I actually bought, because my pictures, my videos, and I have terabytes inside. So this is a 210 terabyte drives. And I think this is 8 terabytes of personal videos. Like I said, these are 8mm. These are videos from when I was 12 years old that I used to film on my dad's old 8mm video camera, which were 5-minute cassettes. I don't think they had, no sound. Some black and white, some color, no sound. And my friends and I would get together and do different videos and act, ridiculous. So those are memories I never want to give up. So I'm going back to the proven method. Just get a hard drive and back it up. I have no faith in NASs. I know Synology is great, but I'm not going to take the chance that I can't access it whatsoever. Just makes me too nervous. These things never fail. When you plug it into the computer, they just work. And that's all I want now. So I bought these because they have the USB hub in the front, and I think that it's faster when you're transferring. Since I'm going to make a backup of this and this on my 14 terabyte drives, I want to do it as fast as possible, and I think when you plug them in here, it'll do it as fast as possible. So again, sad to say that I will no longer buy a DroBo again. I'm really saddened by that, and I wish them well, but yeah, I'm done. I don't know what to say. It's sad that I can't get terabytes of data. I think I had over 22 terabytes of data on this drive alone. I mean, on this NAS alone. This one, I think I had 22, and this one had, I think, 11 or something like that. It's just, it's too much. It's a lot of work to move this data. And to have it fail like that, it's too risky for me. It's just, I've lost faith in NASs. And I just don't want this to happen again. If I'm going to be using a NAS, I'm going to be having a regular hard drive with the same amount of data from here to here. They're up to 16 terabytes of drives now, so it's not like back in the day I had this. I think there were 4 terabytes in here that I had. As I upgraded the drives, I upgraded the size, which increased the size that I could keep in there, which was well over the standard 4 terabyte drive. Now, since we have 14, 16, and we'll soon have 20 terabyte drives, single drives that are more dependable now than the NAS ones, unless you're using an enterprise NAS system. Pretty much, I'm going to make sure that I still have a physical copy of the same data and not just depend on NASs. Nothing against Synology. I haven't had a Synology fail at all, but DroBo has made me very nervous in regards to future NAS purchases. I think I'm going to stick with regular standard hard drives to some extent. They're going to be stuff I'm going to have on the NAS, but I'll always have it backed up to a physical hard drive. All right, so I hope this video helps. I hope it was informative. And I hate to have made it. I waited a few days after I got the email, and I explained to DroBo that I would be making a video in a negative view on their device. So I gave them a chance. It's been well over a week. I haven't gotten a response. So, you know, good luck to the company, but I'm definitely never buying a DroBo again. All right, I hope you liked the video. I hope it helps. Thank you.